Hi, I'm Rescue 911 Danny Donahue, and with me is Josh Diekman,
AKA the
Freight Train. And you're watching The Wild Side Show. Now, we have a very special event that's coming up. A very, very talented virtuoso guitarist by the name of Joe Dodo, who's very good friends with my good friend here, Josh. Josh, why don't you tell me a little bit about Joe?
Joe was my friend. I don't know, how did I meet Joe? I met Joe in maybe 2001, I want to say, and I met him through some mutual friends. He didn't like me at first, which you'll find to be the case a lot of times, but I don't know, we ended up just being good friends, He started coming over and listening to music, and found out we had a lot in common. Joe was my buddy,
As a musician, you've described many things. You've talked about jam sessions and people he's worked with. You talked about multiple instruments that he knew how to play and he could master. Why do you describe how good he actually really was?
You know what? I don't think he ever reached his full potential. I mean, Joe was good. Joe could play the bass. He could play the guitar. He could play the drums. He's actually made music, where he's played all the instruments. He's layered the tracks. He could do sound. Joe just knew music. He liked music. He liked the construction of music. Like, he'd be like, Burl, listen. He called me Burl. That was my name, Burley. That's a long story, but listen to this. Listen to how the piano is, and listen. Like, he liked the dynamics, the actual making of, but he liked to dissect. Joe enjoyed music, no matter what it was. Like, even if he didn't like the style of music, he appreciated music well done.
Different types of genres he used to play. What would you say? He was pretty well versed,
really.
wasn't he?
I mean, oh yeah, God, yeah. He could play bluegrass, the blues, heavy metal. I mean, he's a heavy metal god. But Joe could play anything. Michael Jackson. He played in cover bands.
Really?
Yeah, they would play Michael Jackson like what do they call that when you take like four melodies?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Melodies.
It's one of that.
Elvis used to do it all the time.
Yeah.
I think it is melody.
Whatever, they would play, they'd tie 3 or 4 parts of a song together. They would do Michael Jackson and the Bee Gees.
It's a mix. It's a different mix.
There's a word for it. It starts with an M. I'm drawing a blank here, but
we'll look that up after.
Yeah, he's played in a lot of different bands. He played in. Let me start here. When I was a kid, I was 15 years old. I used to come over to the LNG on Sundays, and we used to watch Joe play. I didn't know him then. I was 15. He was God. He played. I think then they were Blind Hatred with Billy and Rodino and all them guys. We used to play in Excoriate. They were like a really heavy death metal band. And they would play on Sundays there, in the afternoon. And a lot of times they would take their gear. I remember going and watching him play here on a Sunday afternoon and going like somewhere up in Mass and watching them play at night. They just like to play.
Phenomenal, aren't they?
I mean, he was just like, I looked up to him even when I didn't know him. So when I met him, I'm like, there's the guy that, I don't know what I did to make him mad. It took him a week or two to warm up to me. But ever since then, I mean, we were pretty much best friends ever since.
Now, he was a big man, and he actually had a big heart, too. He really cared about a lot of people. Joe, unfortunately, did pass away a couple months ago, and they're going to be having a benefit for him Saturday, June 6th. And it's going to be why don't you describe that a little bit?
Yeah, okay. We're going to have a benefit, and it's going to entail a couple different things. Like the first part of it's going to be a poker run. It's like a shotgun poker run. What that means is there's going to be 5 spots. And here they are. It'll be the Brown Derby, the Basement Cafe, which is in Norwich I think it's on 32. It's actually past the Brown Derby, maybe like 3 or 4 miles on the right. Hootie's, which is down, it's the old Good Times in Pawcatuck. It used to be the Elm Tree.
Yep.
It's across the street from, it's right by the train bridge by, what was that, Evans Mobile. Picardi's Pub, which is up on, it's the bowling alley there, up on, it's across from Stop and Shop in Waterford, and the Exchange, which is down on the one-way side of the bank. And how it works is you can start at any one place. So when you go, you'll go there and you'll purchase your ticket for the run. And what happens is it's a poker run. So you go, like the first place you go, you buy your ticket, you sign up, and you get a card. And you'll flip a card over, and people will write down like what you have. And you have to go to all the 5 spots. You get a card at each spot. And they write it down. And at the end of the run, there's going to be a party and an actual benefit at the Bird's Eye. And what you do is, which I'd like to add that the parking will be limited. It's a one-way street. It's on Jefferson, so we've arranged for a shuttle from Bacardi's to take people who.
That's good.
Like we have room for the motorcycles, and we have maybe a couple handicap spots. But I urge people to use the transport system that we've provided. Like there's going to be vans. You can park your car at Bacardi's because they have a huge parking lot, and we can shuttle you down. It's like 2 miles away, and we'll bring you back. And it doesn't. There's a. I think it's you buy a drink or you buy a $2 ticket or so. It's not much. And when you get to the Bird's Eye, that's when you hand in your thing, and that's when all the people will be there, and we'll. Chris got an ace here. You got, that's how we'll tally your hand.
Yep.
Whoever has the best hand or hands, will win a prize or. But the proceeds from the bike run are going to go towards the music foundation. Like, obviously, I mean, that's what Joe loved the most. Like, it's kind of designed so we can maybe provide like the underprivileged with like instruments or lessons or just something, if they want to take dance lessons, just anything to do with music, say they can't afford it and we can provide it for them. Like that's what we intend on doing. I have a much larger vision, like to have a whole like foundation and a building and teachers. And I mean, you have to, big dreams start with small steps. I was talking with Lisa about that last night. Lisa is Joe's girlfriend, everybody knows. And we said that, she said, well, have big dreams. And we came to the conclusion that, well, big dreams start with small steps. And this is the first step. Like, don't really know what we're going to be able to do, see how much money we can raise. And we'll better know after, like, what we'll be equipped to do this year. But we plan on doing this every year.
Yeah, that's good.
So at the benefit, we're going to have, obviously, all food. And there's going to be beer and music and things like that. But we're going to have bands play. We're going to play, like, all Joe's... A lot of combinations of former band members are going to play. We're also going to have some, Sinners Inc. is going to play. We're working on a couple other bands, like bands that played for a living,
Yeah, Sinner's good. Matt Sinner's nice.
Yeah, those guys are good. Yeah. And we're going to have raffles. We've had several local artists make paintings, all sorts of stuff. Like I'm just kind of.
It's a
I'm kind of humbled by
really a collaborative effort between.
Oh, it's more than that. I mean, this is a massive collaboration because we really don't know like what we're doing. We've had you've helped us. We've had so much help, which I really appreciate, and hopefully I can reciprocate someday. But we've just had so much help, and so many people have reached out and donated just all sorts of stuff. We're gonna have, man. We're gonna have some guy's going to be there juggling sledgehammers, and there's going to be maybe some magic tricks. And I just want to provide just an overall day of entertainment because what this was originally is like we were just going to have a benefit to to accrue some of the funeral costs and there's other things because there's things that are left behind that need to be paid for, but there's also things that are left behind by him not being here because we also lost a loved one, but some people lost an income that was tallied into the bills and things like that. Like we want to take care of that, but ultimately, what we want to do with the money that we raise from the raffle, from the benefit each year, is create a foundation to help people in our community in their time of need. For instance, if you came to me and you said, Josh, my neighbor's house, it burned. They really don't have much, So I would go. There's 5 of us on the council, and each of us have 2 people to answer to. So which aren't my friends. They're people who will oppose me. We've set it up this way, So basically what will happen is you'll come and I'll bring it and okay, we'll vote on that and we go to our 2 and now I have my vote because everything's odd. Right. There's 3 people. This is I vote and that's our vision. We'll be able to help people directly in our community. I don't want to give to any big foundations with CEOs and where people can embezzle and take money. I just want to cut a check. There'll be some, the 5 signatures on it. Here, this is what the foundation can give to you. And people we directly know.
Well, and it goes back to what America was really originally based on. That was to help each other. It really was. And it goes back to that saying, "It takes a village to raise a child." Well, you know what? Right now, there's so much chaos and mayhem going on in society, where something like this needs to happen. Something like this needs to happen more.
See, I think that's what's wrong with society. It's something like this should always happen.
Right.
Like the fact that we get extra credit for doing what's right. That's what's wrong with what
More people
That's why
need
we
to do
have
it.
all these problems. That's why we need more of these things.
Well, and Josh, it's like my situation too. Okay, you're helping me too. Okay, I'm associated with a thing called Veteran Pro Wrestling. Veteran Pro Wrestling was founded by former veterans, EMS, to help people in our society. We helped a firefighter who injured his neck several months ago. We raised a couple $1,000s to help him with his bills, and it worked. It worked. The whole community came and helped out, and it worked.
Because it came from a good place in your heart. You know, you didn't set out to make any money. If you set out to change things and to help, and that's your goal, and you stick to it, the smallest little thing you can do is help. It's change. Like
Right.
if I can give these people something, it was more than what they had. It doesn't have to be like I'm not going to be able to come in and rebuild your house and all
Right.
this, but maybe I can help. I'll definitely come over and help you clean. I'll
in
give you
different
my
way, yeah.
time. Like,
Yeah.
but the foundation was set up to financially help people.
And that's perfect right now, because right now we can't depend on local government. We can't
No.
depend on government because we don't know if they're the good guys or the bad guys. They
don't
don't
get me
have
started.
our best interest.
You know that for sure.
They don't have our best
Your
interest.
friends and your family do, though.
Right.
And that's what the whole idea with this was. So when we started to sit there and plan this thing, we thought, okay, we can have a. But then, like, we came to the conclusion, like, this doesn't have to be a one-time thing. Everybody came out to support so much. We're like, well, why can't we do this every year? And why can't we have this vision? And maybe we can help a broader spectrum of our friends instead of just like Lisa this year. And you know what I'm saying? Like, we can help. We can do so much more because we have all these resources, these people that are. They're donating, you know, because I donate. So people want to help me when I need it. Like, and I think that's kind of what makes the bond, like all this special. Everybody's either returning a favor or they're paying one forward.
Yeah.
But it's all, nobody expects anything. It comes from a good place.
And you know,
this is real.
It's interesting you brought that up because you and I had a conversation about that yesterday in regards to people donating. Like in my case, Joan Jett did something wonderful for a cause that I was associated with and wanted to know, like recognition.
Didn't put
in
it
your
on
case,
Facebook.
it was someone else.
I have a person that's helped too and said, here, take this.
Yep.
Don't tell any, like they don't want to write off that. I'm helping you because I want to. Please don't tell anybody because then everybody's going to ask type of you know what I'm
thing,
saying?
yeah.
Because there is, when as soon as you designate yourself the helper, like the people who need to be helped will come out, which is what you want. There's also people in there that are going to look to take advantage.
Right.
And that's why we put the 5 people with the 3, because we're going to try to weed that out. You know, because 15 minds are obviously better than 5. You know what I mean?
Right.
And there's more people to be held accountable. Like there's 15 points of view rather than 5. You know what I'm saying? Just because I see things one way doesn't mean that's the only way. If I sit in your chair, I'm going to see this room entirely different.
Right.
It's all perspective.
It is, and it's all about support. This is a wonderful cause, Josh, and if for the listeners out there, how could they reach you, or how could they?
Well, we started an event page on Facebook. I think it's on my page. It's on several people's pages. I think this is what it says. It says Joe Dodo Music. I don't know. I'll repost today.
Yeah.
It's like the Joe Dodo Music Benefit Poker Run.
Yeah.
You can find it.
Yeah, if you Google it on Facebook, you should be able to
it'll come
pull
up.
it up. Yeah.
It'll come up.
Well, Memorial Day means an awful lot to me because, of course, I'm a veteran of World War II. I started in the military, in the Navy, prior to World War II, and I was through all of World War II. I lost an awful lot of shipmates, and classmates, I might say. I managed to avoid being bombed on the battleship Nevada when it was bombed at Pearl Harbor on December the 7th, 1941. And my ship was sunk to Nevada, although I wasn't on board because I was in school. But after that, I went into the submarine service. And in March of 1941, I went aboard my first submarine, the USS Trout, Hall number was 202. And I remained on trout for about almost 3 years, and was all over the South Pacific, operating from Australia, and we had some casualties. But moreover, I was very much aware that we were losing submarines during the war, and I had friends on some of those submarines that we lost, good friends as a matter of fact. And eventually I was sent to school again, and while I was in school, my submarine was sunk with all hands, 81 men. So Memorial Day has a special meaning to me. I remember those young men so well, and of course I often feel like I should ask myself a question: what happened? Why should that happen to them? Why should they go? They did not do anything that would warrant them losing their lives. So anyway, 81 of my shipmates on that submarine were lost, and of course I'm much aware of the fact that in the submarine service we lost well over 3,500 sailors before the war ended. So Memorial Day has a great and significant meaning to me. When I see the flag, our flag, flying at half staff, then I recognize that, of course, that there are many families that still grieve over the fact that their loved ones, their husband or their son or whomever, was lost during that war. And so I think it's that sort of thing that means so much to me.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of Veteran Professional Wrestling. We are here to talk to you about the Let Freedom Ring event, which is coming up on July 3rd at the Mystic VFW at 60 Stonington Road in Mystic, and it's going to be a great time. We're going to talk to you some more about, once we start over again, we're going to talk again about some of the people that are going to be participating in that event. I have with me today Cassius Cheney, who is one of our guest referees. He's going to be the referee for an event featuring Josh the Train Diekman, if I remember the last name right. Yep, Diekman. And it's unusual that Josh is going to be putting out an open challenge to everyone there, and is going to see who decides to step up and take him on. But interestingly enough,
We have some bad switches. Let's just start completely from the beginning.
Okay.
And just pick, we're not going to run the titles, just pick it up from the beginning.
Okay, so just go in right now? Okay. Hi everyone, and welcome to another edition of Veteran Professional Wrestling. I'm Phil Weston, and I'm here today with Cassius Cheney. Cassius is going to be one of the special guest referees at our next event. The next event, of course, is going to be the July 3rd Let Freedom Ring event, held at the Mystic VFW, 60 Stonington Road, Mystic, Connecticut. Same place our last event was held. They love us there. We had to go back again. This is going to be a special event because Josh the Train Diekman is going to be opening or presenting an open challenge to see who wants to come and throw their hat in the ring, so to speak. It could be interesting. We'll have to see. There's going to be a lot of people there with a lot of different backgrounds, and Josh the Train Diekman is a force to be reckoned with. We'll see how it goes. It's one of the reasons we needed somebody with a combatives background to come in and be a special guest referee. So with that in mind, Cassius, let's hear a little bit about your background. First of all, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We're glad to have you here. As our viewers can see, we've got some boxing gloves here and everything. Clearly that's your background.
Yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about how you got involved with boxing.
Well, I always felt like I would end up boxing. You know,
I'm named after Muhammad Ali, and you know, my father being from Philadelphia, my mom being from Baltimore. You know, that was you know, I grew up around fighting. You know, my brothers and everybody. You know what I mean? So just, you know, when I walked into the gym, when I walked into Strike Zone, Wayland City Boxing, I knew I was going to end up doing it. You know, and it was just a matter of time until I, you know, got my first fight. So.
Yeah, so you walked in and it just felt right.
Yeah, it just felt good. You know, I walked in, I saw some people hitting the bags, and I was like, I'm gonna end up boxing. You know, I always felt like if I had the time to do it, I would. Just basketball took up all my time. I didn't play any other sports, so I never had that edge for anything else other than basketball at that time. You know what I mean? To really do it. So, but once I had the time to box, you know, I knew that it was like, you know, match made in heaven. It was it.
And from what I understand, that now you've been doing this for how long?
This would be 4 years, I think, in 4 years in July. 4 years in July.
And in 4 years, you've managed to get Golden Gloves twice, I think you told me?
I won the New England Golden Gloves twice. I won the novice division my first year. Then I won the open division the following year. And then I won the national, I won 2 national championships, a couple regional championships in New York. I won a few things.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Look, clearly you've you know, developed some skill in this area then. It's not something that, I guess what I'm trying to say is if somebody is going to have a career, that comes out pretty quickly. People can get by on raw talent for a short period, but it takes, you know, if you're going to do it for 4 years and start pulling in titles and stuff like that, then clearly you've put the time in and you know, developed some skills there. What is your typical day like when you're training?
Well, let's say today, gym 8 o'clock, and my gym is in Narragansett, Rhode Island, so that's about an hour. So an hour there, gym about 2 hours, and on the way back I go to swim for roughly an hour, 45 minutes to an hour, and now, you know, and then I get ready for work. So that's pretty much the day. Depending on what day it is, it's different. Some days I might swim, some days I have to run 4 miles or something like that. So
working, training, and that's it. And sleep every once in a while.
Training, working, sleep. Yeah, that's it. You know, I don't do anything else. So not really. I never did. So it's not a big deal to me. Like I never partied or anything like that. So,
got it.
You know, all this stuff is more new than it would be if I had to go party or anything. I wouldn't. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily do it. So.
Yep. So you mentioned Wayland City.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's who you're with now. That's where you're training and everything.
No, I train with Peter Manfredo's my trainer, and Manfredo's boxing in Narragansett. I started with Wayland City Boxing with Coach Kent, Freddie Weaver, and Orlando Peace. I started there, and you know, it was good. You know, one of my first Golden Gloves there. I won my first. I won the Connecticut Golden Gloves first with no fights, you know, and I beat guys with 10 fights and 11 fights. So I knew that I could figure it out, how to get better. And then moving to open was a little bit difficult because that was 3 minutes, 3 rounds. So the time changed, and of course the talent changed. So I had to switch my style, and, you know, so once I switched though, I said, you know, I'm just gonna stick to, you know, a pro style and win like this. I don't have to fight the amateur way to win. So, you know, that's why I think my transition to the pros will be a lot better.
Wow. Well, we've already established that, you know, you don't have a whole lot of life outside of you know, between training and work and everything. But you know what? That's probably a good thing. You've seen in a lot of boxing, probably no worse than anybody else, but a lot of professional athletes seem to get derailed You know, they're going to the parties and the crazy times and all that stuff, and next thing you know, their career suffers and it's all over. Boxing has always interested me because the talent level and the skill level can be developed well past the late 20s, which is kind of where the peak tends to go off. You can compensate for getting older by getting better in boxing. Professional football players, you can't do that. You know, basketball players, you can't do that. Well, a little bit you can. But it just seems in most other sports, you hit your late 20s and you know you're pretty much over. You're probably not going to peak past that. You're at your peak or you've already passed the peak. But boxing, you see a lot of guys with pretty senior. I mean, they're mid 30s, late 30s even, some of them, and still knocking people out.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, look at George Foreman.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy's been around forever. I mean, I can't even guess how old he is. He's got to be my age, maybe even a little older. You know, and I still wouldn't want to get in the ring with him. That man hits hard.
Yeah. George Foreman was a monster. Yeah.
Oh. So speaking of knockouts and stuff, your last match in here, I hear it was a fairly short match.
Yeah, it was fairly short, and my whole thing was, you know, I've most of the guys, especially early, I'm going to be more talented than, and I'm going to be probably, you know, a lot more mentally talented, you know. So I just didn't want to go crazy. I wanted to stay composed and, you know, take them out when I could. I wasn't, you know, I knew if I could go crazy and, you know, fight stupid, but that's not my style. So just took my time and I was able to, you know, take them out. So it was all right. It was okay.
Okay. So more of a strategist then.
Well, yeah, I'm more of a strategic fighter, you know. But at the same time, like you were just talking about, I think those are the guys that last long. The ones that think, the ones that are smart, the ones that know what they're setting up in the ring, you know. And it's hard when you're starting, but those are the ones that I feel last the longest. And I think that's why George Foreman was able to come back and fight, or why Ali was able to fight so long. Even though he took damage, he was able to fight so long because he was a thinker. He just outsmart. He just let the other guy hit him at the same time.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I think those little things work in boxing, especially in the heavyweight division, because Vladimir Klitschko is now, 37, and he's been the champion for 11 years. So, you know, those things work in boxing, you know.
Yeah, no, it's not just a matter of standing in front of another guy and hitting each other.
No.
Not at all.
Some people box like that. I mean, some guys, I mean, not to be whatever, but I mean, the Mexican style is like that. That's what they like to do. They like to slug. They want to get you in a slugging match. But, you know, as you can see, a lot of the Mexican style, with the Mexican style, there isn't a lot of heavyweights because of that style.
Yes.
In the heavyweight division is one punch, and it can change. You know, it can change you in the ring and you can win. It can change you in the ring and you can lose. So it's a lot different.
Yep. No, there's certainly a much higher potential to take on some serious damage when you start going up in the weight classes. You know, the lightweights, or the lighter weights, I should say, are exciting to watch. You know, fantastic speed, great technique. You don't see a lot of one-punch knockouts in that weight class because they're smaller and they're harder to hit too, for that matter. You get up into the heavyweights or even light heavy. There's some guys out there that hit really hard, and you need to be able to protect yourself and roll with the punches a little bit, and learn how to take a punch, which is a very important skill if that's what you're going to do for a living. What do you think about the upcoming VPW match? I mean, I know you were a fan. You mentioned being a fan when you were a kid and everything, watching professional wrestling. I think all of us out there and in here have all been fans of professional wrestling ever since we were kids, and I know I'm looking forward to it a lot. But how about you?
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait to referee and be part of this wrestling match. I still am sorta. You know what I mean? It's not as exciting to me, as it used to be on TV.
Yep.
But now I get to do it live and firsthand, so it's gonna be fun. You know what I mean? I'm still into the old wrestlers and things like that. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be fun.
Great. Now, if you were given a choice, which would you rather be? Would you rather be the referee, or would you rather be one of the wrestlers?
I'd rather be the referee because you can't punch it. You can't do what I like to do in a wrestling match. But I'd rather be the referee. I'm cool with that.
Yep, I think I'd rather be the referee too.
Yeah.
You can be right there in the action and see everything that's going on, but at the same time, you're a lot less likely to
Get hit or slammed
get
or
punched in the
get
face or
tossed.
slammed or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Going forward in your career, okay, what do you think are the challenges that you're going to face?
I mean, just staying disciplined is going to be the challenges of new people. I'm a people's person, but it is going to be a challenge to keep to watch who I have around me and keep my eyes open to people that want to be part of something. You know what I mean? And sometimes you got to say yes, sometimes you got to say no. And that means friends, family, or just new individuals that come about. Right now, I mean, I've only had one fight, so, and some of the attention has been kind of crazy. So, you know what I mean? And I'm looking to be undefeated, so I only can imagine how it's going to continue to get. So I would say that's going to be one of the biggest challenges. But in the ring, just getting better, get more disciplined with my body, and just making my skills better. That's really it.
Yep, and training is a huge part of that.
Yeah, just training, just discipline, and just staying in the gym. That's something I'm used to doing. Like I said, I don't do anything else. So, my time that's what my time is. So that's pretty much it.
Well, plenty of time for partying and everything after you've made a few $1 million in the fight game, and then you can retire undefeated, and then you can buy the yachts and go crazy with the parties and stuff.
That's different, Like I tell people all the time, I want to box. Do I feel I need to? Sorta, but do I really need to? I don't know. You know what I mean? I just love it. I want to do it, and I need to win, but I'm not going to be a journeyman, or if I can't be champion, I'm not going to just box for a paycheck. That's not something I'm going to do. I can make money other ways. So if I can't be champion, then, then I'm not going to do it. You know what I mean? My goal is to be champion, and that's the pressure that I have on myself eternally. You know what I mean? So that's my goal.
That's the way to be.
Yeah.
We want to be driven from the inside.
Yeah.
Well, excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, Cassius Chaney, again, going to be our guest referee. July 3rd, Let Freedom Ring event at Mystic VFW, 60 Stonington Road. Make sure you're there. Come down and see what happens when Josh the Train Diekman puts out his open challenge to everyone. So I will see you there July 3rd. Hi everyone, I'm Phil Weston with Veteran Professional Wrestling, VPW, and I'm here to talk to you about the upcoming event, which is going to be Freedom Ring. And this is going to be July 3rd over at the Mystic VFW, 60 Stonington Road in Mystic, Connecticut. And we are interviewing today one of the participants that's going to be wrestling for us there. Rosalie Valley, also known as Tequila Rose, and also known as the Portuguese Princess. You know, Rosalie, thank you very much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you for inviting me.
We want everybody to get to know you a little bit. This is part of a series, as you know, that we're going to be doing.
Right.
Hopefully get some more people to participate. Some of our wrestlers seem to be far more shy about joining us on camera out of the ring than in the ring. So again, thank you for coming.
Oh, thank you.
You've been doing this for about a year now, correct?
That's right.
So that's relatively new to the scene. How did you get started in professional wrestling?
Well, I was always a fan of professional wrestling, and I turned 21, and I was just like, why not start doing it? And I looked up schools, and Kevin Laundrie's name came up, so I was like, oh, that would be cool if I, go down to Massachusetts and check it out. I did, and I stepped into the ring, and since that day, I was sold. It was like destiny.
I think all of us here and all of us out there, of course, have always been fans from the early days. Well, perhaps my early days or earlier than your early days, but all of us grow up with the fans, the people that we love to cheer for. Of course, when the good guys win, and then of course the people that we love to boo and throw popcorn at the screen when the bad guys win. Hopefully, we won't see too many bad guys winning on July 3rd anyway. Your background, as you've been developing your career in professional wrestling, you mentioned earlier, again, your character's name, the Portuguese Princess. You mentioned earlier that there's a lot of, that provides a lot of motivation for you.
Right.
Okay, so talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, I'm Portuguese, so, we're from Stonington Borough, so you have to bring back and make it like a community, So you just have to bring wrestling. There's not a lot of Portuguese wrestling who are proud to be Portuguese. So you have to just embrace the fact that I am from Portugal and, my family's from Portugal. So you have to embrace that and bring it into, professional wrestling. So why not?
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny because people think about professional wrestling. Mexico, for instance, is huge in professional wrestling.
Right.
Everybody knows that. And then, of course, all over the United States, we have fans from every walk of life that follow the professional wrestling. You really don't hear much, though, with some of the smaller ethnic communities, such as the Portuguese Americans, and that needs to change, obviously. We need to fix this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, you're going to be wrestling against the whip mistress on July 3rd. And I hear that there's been a little bit of back and forth going on there, a little bit of, I won't say trash talking, because obviously, you ladies are a little too nice for that, but what are some of the things that you've heard?
Since everyone knows, I am also Tequila Rose. I usually come out and I bring a rose. I did hear that she wants to whip my rose out of my hand.
Okay, so that's official then. That's not just something that I heard that.
Evidently, I don't know. That's what I've heard.
Yes, the quote that I heard is if she brings one of those stupid roses into the ring, that she's going to get it with the whip.
Yeah,
the way it was.
That's unfortunate.
Well, there was a reason that the two of you were competing. It was the typical good versus evil, and she's decided which side of the coin she wants to be on. So that's going to be her goal, I think. Hopefully, you're ready for that. Tell me a little bit more about the early part of your career as you've gone in. I know that you've done not only a lot of work inside the ring, getting ready for your matches and et cetera. Everybody who's in professional wrestling spends a lot of time at the gym, eating correctly, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
But when you're not at the gym working out everything, I understand that you do a lot of charity work.
That's right.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I love kids. So I do a lot of my charity work with kids. You go to children's hospitals and just like brighten up their day and just kind of just talk to them and just see, you know, how they interact with you, and they give you hugs and you know they mean it and stuff like that. Like, that just makes my day. You know, anyone that can like just see them, make them happy, and just see them smile, and then when they go to like, when I invite them to like shows and they see me in the gear and they're just like, oh, you know, it's pretty cool that, you know, you're wrestling. I'm just like, you know, it's kind of awesome that you guys, you know, support me and just hug me and just squeeze me. I think it's cool. Like the last show I went to and I performed at, this little girl, I didn't know who she was. She was a Girl Scout, and she gave me Girl Scout cookies. I think that was the sweetest thing I've ever even seen. I gave her a hug, and I was just like, we have to take a picture together, and her mom took a picture of us. I thought it was the nicest thing ever.
Wonderful. Yeah, I'm far too familiar with Girl Scout cookies. I really
They
need
taste
to.
so good, right?
They're just amazing.
Oh my God, you have no idea.
You know, and it's not fair because the Boy Scouts really don't have anything like that they can do. That, you know, they have popcorn sales and stuff like that, but it's just.
It's just something about Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah, there's just
I
no
don't know.
competition with the cookies, though. Just
No, there's not. There really isn't. There's no diet in the world that will not stop me from eating Girl Scout cookies.
I'll tell you one thing. One of the things that I'm sure you've heard that everybody who's spent any time in the gym has heard, you can't out-train a fork. Okay? and you know, I'm telling you, when you start featuring things like Girl Scout cookies in your diet, it's just downhill from there. And, you know, 10 minutes of eating cookies followed by 10 weeks of trying to get rid of them. Well,
true.
it's been my experience anyway. You know, but I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up.
No, you can't. You can't give up. If I were to give up, I wouldn't be wrestling.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So it's just like you have to give it 110% no matter what. So if you're gonna eat Girl Scout cookies, you know what? Work out, eat a Girl Scout cookie, you know, drink some milk, go work out again. It's definitely worth it. It definitely is.
just
Girl
have to-
Scout cookies are phenomenal.
Have to pick it up, do 2 a days, maybe 3 a days, whatever it takes.
That's right.
The,
You have to.
that takes a ton of dedication, and I think that brings us back around to the motivation thing again. You were talking with me earlier off camera, and you were emphasizing your desire to bring the title home.
That's right.
And you had some interesting things to say about it being a Connecticut title and et cetera. So
VPW is in Connecticut. That means the title belongs in Connecticut. No disrespect to the Whip Mistress. She is a phenomenal wrestler. I've seen her work, but we need to bring it back to the Stonington borough. We need to. I am from Connecticut. We have to bring it back. It belongs home. That's what a title is. It should be home. And you know, she wants to whip roses out of my hand, and she wants to start whipping people with her whip, and that's cool, but the title belongs home, and home it should come.
yeah, there are people that really get into the whole whip thing and all that kind of stuff, and you know, I get it. It's fun, especially with the whole 50 Shades of Grey thing going on and all that. I don't know. It's very dangerous. I mean, you're going to be getting in the ring with someone who is armed with a whip, and even without the whip, you've seen her film. You've seen her in action.
Right.
She's a very powerful wrestler, and very skilled. And I don't want to make it sound like you're an underdog, because you're not. You've certainly been able to hold your own so far.
Right.
But she's formidable.
She is. I've seen a lot of her videos and I've seen a lot of her work, but I'm just as determined, just as dedicated to bring that title home. And not only that, but she does whip. She does the whip, and she's a grappler wrestler, but I'm also faster. I'm quick in the ring, and that's one thing that's going to separate me from everyone else.
Okay.
And I have the fans behind me. I have the kids behind me. What are better than kids being behind you?
Nothing.
All right.
No, the kids are great. Now, speaking of which, do you have anything that you wanted to say to your fan base, to the kids out there, and because I'm sure that it's going to be a lot of them watching this.
Yeah.
They're going to be downloading it off the internet and everything. So, yeah. Again, before you go, again, it's going to be July 3rd, and this is at the Mystic VFW. Our last event a couple of months ago was held there, and it was great. We had a huge turnout. The place was packed, had a lot of fun. There were a couple of unexpected events, we'll say, which, that never happens in professional wrestling. It always goes according to the script. No, it doesn't, not ever. But again, it's the Let Freedom Ring event.
All right.
And is July 3rd, which of course, 4th of July is a big weekend. It's all about freedom. And of course, the whole Let Freedom Ring. Where is it going to happen? In the ring.
That's right.
This is going to be a lot of fun, and we're expecting a huge turnout. And anything that you would like to add for your fan base?
Yeah, absolutely. VPW is it's going to be my first ever for VPW. So you guys have to come July 3rd, come squeeze me, come take pictures with me, come and get a rose. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a great time. I'm excited.
Excellent. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, it's going to be a good time. Make sure you show up early. The VFW is a fantastic facility, and they're great hosts. They love us there. We've had a lot of fun, all the events that we've done there. Make sure you come down, get there early so you get parking. Parking isn't. So again, July 3rd, Mystic VFW, 60 Stonington Road. Get there early, get good parking, come inside, grab something to eat, and get ready for a great event. The VPW Let Freedom Ring event, again featuring the Whip Mistress and Rosalie Valley, aka Tequila Rose, aka the Portuguese Princess. It's going to be a great match. Hope to see you there.
I hope to see you guys there too. Are we good?